to show Remine first.
Okay.
And you can use Matrix to pull some addresses, but the problem is you can't be as targeted or intentional with it.
Right.
Okay, so let's take a look at Remine. And so we have Remine Pro. This is provided as part of your membership. And Remine does have some capabilities of interacting with buyers, like setting up portals, etc. In my opinion, I would not get into that. Okay, if you see those features, I wouldn't do it. This system is working very much like we've had in the past, where when we changed from Tempo to ML Exchange, and then we had Fusion, and then we had Matrix, and the boards run these systems simultaneously. Okay, the data is never 100% accurate in the system that is being run simultaneously as far as listing data. So I would use it for the public record data, what I'll show you today. But as far as setting up a client with a portal, I would not do it in Remine. Okay. All right, so when you enter into Remine, it's going to take you here to what's called the daily screen. I don't use this only because the features here to look at your listings, etc. That's what I use in Matrix. So I skip right past this.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the searching. And in the searching features, I'll show you the filters that you want to use here to set up the searches. We'll do a saved search, and I'll show you how to pull properties into the carts. Okay. Then from the carts, you can export the data. You can create mailing labels. They even have a postcard system where you can design a postcard and have it sent. So they've got a lot. And they do have some other marketing features here on the left. This is very, very new. This would allow you to create Facebook ads. Okay. I do not even have Facebook.
I don't do Facebook ad. I tried it. It didn't work for me.
Okay, so we're on the same page with that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start off with going through some of the filters. I'm going to clear the filters I have in here right now because this is going to remember the last search you ran. Okay, so I want to clear that off. I'm just going to use this option over here on the right just to clear the filters. Okay. Now, when you come in here for the first time, the system will probably default to pulling up listings. Okay. You're just going to switch the toggle to properties. That way you're searching for property records rather than what's been listed on the MLS. Okay. So once we get here to the properties, my first step is looking for an area. Okay, yours will zoom out. When you open it up, it should open like to the greater Austin area, something like this. Okay, all right. So what we'll do first is let's look for a specific area. And here at the top of the screen, you can search by address. Usually what I'm searching by is zip codes or neighborhoods. Sometimes people will say, oh, I want this MLS area. Like, if you know those, great, because I don't. So here at the top is where we would look for neighborhoods, etc. Okay. Is there a specific neighborhood that you want to search?
We can do Round Rock West neighborhood.
Okay. So you just begin typing in, oops, so you have to type correctly. You just begin typing in that subdivision name, and options will show, oh, we might need to do that like RRW. Nope, there it is. Okay, so usually it'll do cities, then neighborhoods, then schools. I don't know why this one's backwards. I was thinking, oh, is it not pulling the neighborhood because I had the schools first? But just scroll through. When you don't see what you want right up top, just keep scrolling. Okay. So let's do Round Rock West is right there. Okay. Now the map is going to put a shape on to show here's where that location is. What I'll do is I will uncheck this box for search as I move the map. I want to be able to zoom in and out, but I don't want to eliminate properties based on how closely I've zoomed in. Okay. So I'll go ahead and uncheck that. Okay, now you can move the map around and you can narrow the search by drawing shapes, but I'll I'll use some other search criteria before I do that. Okay. Did you have an ideal number of how many properties you would want to
When I
pull?
do a mailing, I try to be at no more than 1,000.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is you'll see all of these actives pop up first. I want to eliminate what's on market. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go here to add filter. And in this drop down menu, this is going to be filters that are really MLS related. So I only use one of them off market.
Okay.
Okay. You'll select that you want to add the off market filter. It adds it here on the top. One of the things that I don't love about the screen, the layout of the screen, is you can't see all the filters at once. Okay. So it's going to add it there at the top, but it's sometimes a little hard to see. Once that filter's added, you want to select off market right there.
Okay.
Okay. After making that selection, now we can go to, they call these layers, but they are filters on the left-hand side. Okay, so with these filters, I'm going to use the down arrows so that I can start seeing all of the filters. Okay, anything below land use, you probably won't ever use. Okay. It goes further down. This is a commercial search. You have to pay additional for the commercial. Then you have your cash buyers. It does not work. Distressed deals are not happening yet, but I think they will soon.
Yes.
And then I'm going to start moving up from here. Last list price I don't care about, and sell price. I'm going to go straight to land use. And in the land use, I'll go ahead and identify we want residential for this search. After clicking apply, what I'm looking for here is my count to reset. Okay, so that's going to continuously reset. What people have been doing here lately is they're pulling multiple lists. So that they're pulling separately here the owner occupied. Let me pull the non-owner occupied and mail to those investors, but they're very much separating these lists. Okay. So next.
Actually, mailing to investors now might be.
I know people who are looking very broad and they're pulling zip codes. I don't know anybody who's doing it in Round Rock yet.
Yeah.
It's been Austin. And they're pulling zip codes and exporting all of the non-owner occupied owners and sorting those, looking for duplicates. They're looking for people who own 4, 5, 6 properties and don't want to pay taxes on them.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I like that. That's smart. So then in the filters above land use, we're going to have our building type. For some people, they don't care. They're just like, I just want anything in the area. For this one, because we're already down to 700, I would leave it.
Well, and
there may not be a whole lot of different mixed use in this area.
I don't think the apartment complex, there's 2
Those
apartment
won't
complexes. Oh, they
Yeah.
won't?
No.
Because I'm seeing multifamily. Does that mean duplexes?
Yes,
Okay, we
that's
do
going to
have
be anything
duplexes.
up to 4 plexes.
Okay. Okay, there are some duplexes, but not very many.
And you can limit it to, the single family condos and townhomes. This will be duplex, triplex, fourplex.
Got it.
All right. So I'll close that filter. Let's keep going up in the list. Okay. So the next filters that I really use most, the absentee is a little misleading. It's really, do I want absentee or owner occupied?
What's the difference?
So,
Well, okay, no. Okay, yeah, never mind. Yes, got it.
yeah.
I processed your statement incorrectly.
Yeah. So when I'm looking for the absentee owners, I'll usually do in-state, out-of-state, and corporate. I do all of them. You will see a lot of LLCs pull up that are weird. It's like the address of the property, LLC. So those you're not really getting the owner's name. And you're not able to identify, does that owner own more than one? Because they're doing an LLC for each property.
And if the address is the property itself, then you can't really mail it to them. It's going to go to the renters.
Yes. Now, they should have a tax billing address that's different ideally, but you know, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
All right, so for this one, we'll go ahead and do the owner occupied. And then let's talk sell score, ownership
Wow, I
time,
did
and
not
equity.
know we had that many. I knew we had them.
Yeah, like over 100.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's an older neighborhood, but it's one of the better older neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And that's, it is.
Yeah.
It's surprising. So let's talk sell score next. So sell score, this is a predictive analysis that the system does, and it's really based on cookies. A lot of it's based on cookies.
Really?
So yes, so they have some data mining that they do where they can see what are people searching for. What websites are they subscribing to? They'll even look at spending habits so they can see purchase trends.
Yeah.
And I've seen this in action in my neighborhood with people I know, so I know it's working. I'll see people that I know in the neighborhood who are remodeling. All of a sudden they pop up on the high sell score because of their spending trends.
Okay.
People having a baby pop up on the high sell score. They might be moving.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But it is also looking at what are they searching for on their computers and what are they subscribing to. Okay. So the sell score is indicating if that owner has a high likelihood of selling within the next year. Okay. You can do medium as well. This will usually narrow down those results to like 20-ish. Those are the people that I say you get a pop by. You get something extra. You get a handwritten note instead of a postcard. So when you look at the high sell score, I'm going to go ahead and apply that. You'll see this number will drop significantly, 15.
Wow. Okay.
That's going to be my pop by people. That's going to be the handwritten notes.
Yeah.
Okay. When pulling that list, I would do that one completely separate and say that's my high sell score people, but I also want to look at individuals who have maybe a specific amount of ownership time or equity in their property. Okay. I'll show you in a minute how to move these individuals into the cart so that you could export, see their names, see their mailing address, other information. Okay. Once you add filters, if there's a filter that you want to remove, you're just going to use the arrows here to slide over to the side. There's that absentee filter. There's my sell score. If I want to remove sell score, I just click the X on that filter. Okay. Now here on the left, I'm going to go up a little more and look at ownership time and equity. Of course, I have a lot of people who are saying, oh, well, I don't care about their ownership time because they already have equity. I'm like, yeah, but people usually when they buy, they're not wanting to move again in a year.
Right, unless they have to.
They're still unpacking.
Right.
So here in the ownership time, you can do a minimum, no maximum, or you can create your own range. So here I'll usually do, I want them to have at least 3 years of ownership. You can leave the max open, whatever you want. Okay, so I'll go ahead and apply that. Okay, most people have lived here a while. People don't like to leave that neighborhood.
No.
Then we have the home equity. This filter is going to be in a dollar range rather than a percent. But I could say maybe I want people who have at least $200,000 in equity. I'm making this up. But you can do whatever you think is best. Let's do 200 and no max. Okay, so you've got a solid almost 330 people.
A lot of
there.
people don't move unless they have to in that neighborhood.
Yep, they like the neighborhood. I don't worry about property values because, those are usually wrong.
Okay.
But here, once I have a search set up and I say, okay, I'm happy with this search, I'm going to go ahead and save it.
Now, these off-market
Yes.
Are they for sale by owner, or are they just?
No, these, so that's going to indicate these are truly just off-market properties, are not currently active or pending,
Got it.
truly
Okay.
off-market.
Okay.
And so these, they could be properties that have been listed in the MLS in the past, or not at all. You know, we're not even defining that.
Right.
All right, so here I'm going to go ahead and save the search. When you go to save the search, you'll just enter in what do you want it to be named. I'm just going to put test for this one. Okay. Some people will turn on this auto email. Y'all get so many emails as realtors, it's ridiculous. I don't know that y'all need any more emails. I do know some agents who did like the high sales score and turned that on because they said, I want to know if somebody pops up on that list because I'm going to send them a handwritten note like right away. But if you click this, then the system would send you an auto email when somebody new is added to that list or matches that criteria.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that off and go ahead and save. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a minute. Okay. Now, if I want to send a mailer to these individuals, I'm going to go ahead and do my select all. After clicking select all, I need to move these into the cart.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click cart. This is where I'm going to name the cart. Be fairly specific in your name. So I'll do RRW, owner occupied with equity. Okay. When you're naming the cart, this little message appears below. You have to click on this. Don't close the window. So you click on that. That's going to name it, and then you add the properties to the cart.
Okay.
Okay, so now those properties are moving into the cart. Your carts are located here on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and open up all my carts. The limit of the 10,000 is for all carts total, so you can always click here to all carts and see how many do you have in your carts at one time. Switch over to the cart that you want to export. Okay, and here underneath the number of properties is where I can do my select all.
Okay. Now, if you get too many in there, you can just delete them?
Yes, I do that very often. It's like this investor one, and I need to delete this one. For this card, I had over 3,000 in it. That was really gonna throw off my numbers. So here I can delete this cart completely, and you just go next to the name. You can delete that completely.
Got it.
Now you can also select what's in a cart, and under more, you can just empty the cart. So if you want to refresh that cart.
Okay, and do it again. Okay.
Yes, then I would just remove it. Then I go back to my save search, rerun the search, add the new properties to the cart.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to this one. Okay, so same here. Next to the name, I can rename it or delete the cart entirely. Okay. When you do your select all, you'll have the option here to export the information. Send mailers takes you into the system. It's Rocket Print and Mail, but it takes you into their system where you can design a postcard. They have templates where you can customize the templates to use your own branding colors, upload your own photo, company logo. You can use pictures from your own properties.
Okay.
Okay. They do have in their templates, they have some stock images that you can use as well at no cost.
Okay.
From what I have seen, the postcards run printed and mailed about 65 cents per postcard.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been using the EXP templates and mailing directly through them.
I think that's best.
Yeah.
I always
because it's already got the logo, it's already got everything set up.
Yes. Yeah. I would keep doing that. You would just import the list into y'all's system.
Okay, so in that case, I would do export
Yes.
into an Excel spreadsheet.
Yes,
And then
it'll go
download it.
straight into a CSV file. I'll show you exactly how it works.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No worries. Somebody really wants to talk to you.
Oh, no, it's my son. So it's okay. I asked him a good question. So.
Aw, that's awesome. Okay, so here let's go into the export. When you go to export, you'll name your file here. The name that you give it here is the name that the file will be on your computer.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to do test again. All right, this option here to include all columns the first time you come into the system, this will probably be turned on. Okay, I do not want to include all columns. The list of columns is ridiculously long.
Right. I go through and like delete,
Yes.
90% of it.
90% of it. Oh, absolutely. Me too. So the menu below is where I'll select, I want the owner's information and their mailing address. I include the property address just in case I want to reference to them the address that I'm talking about. That's more for investors. Property owners that live there, they know what address you're talking about.
Right. And does this pop up automatically?
You have to select the columns
Got
from
it.
this menu.
Okay.
But once you do, so here if I wanted to take off property address, I could just delete that field. Okay. But once you select your preferences, I would definitely say I want to make that my default.
Okay.
Okay. And then it'll remember. I'm going to go ahead and export this. And depending on how many go into that file, sometimes it'll take a minute. Okay, but what you'll be looking for is up here at the very top of the screen, a green banner is going to appear when the download is ready.
Okay.
Most of the time, I continue working and I'm doing other stuff.
Okay.
I don't even see that banner pop up. I come back in here later and you're going to have a little red alert down here at the bottom left. That'll tell you the download is ready. And you'll just click here to do the download. Okay, that's a different one. Oh, that's from last week. Okay, so we'll wait a minute for that to actually finish exporting. But you'll see that pop up. The other thing that you'll see pop up are messages down here at the bottom right. These are just going to be messages from the system. Sometimes it's a new feature that they're coming out with or something like that.
Okay.
See, there it is.
Okay.
So you'll see that little indicator like this down over here sometimes. Okay. So here I'm going to go to that alert. Here's my download. I'm going to go ahead and download that. Okay. I'll put it on my desktop and save. All right. Now this is going to be in a CSV file, and of course you don't want to edit it too much because then it'll make you save it as an Excel spreadsheet and it won't import properly to your CRM system.
You talking about into my KV core? Okay, so leave it. I've never heard of CSF. What's the difference between the CSF and a PD?
Okay, so this type of file, the way that the columns are divided is different than an Excel spreadsheet. It is Excel, basically, but it's a comma delimited file. And I don't know enough about spreadsheets to really explain that other than if you make major changes to it, the system's going to tell you some of what you're changing might be lost because this is a CSV file. You have to save it as an Excel spreadsheet if you want to make major changes to it.
The only thing, well, I don't know if I would need to, is delete some of these blank ones.
Right. If the system you're uploading it to doesn't care about those blanks, I would leave it as it is.
Okay.
But this would have, so we've got the property address first. Then it goes into the mailing address. That's where when you're exporting, you might just want owner information and mailing address.
Okay.
Okay. Then it's going to go into the owner information. So it'll have owners' names. Okay. It'll have first owner and second owner. but it also will contain some email addresses and phone numbers.
Right.
Okay. But then it goes owner 2, and that's going to be the end of the data there.
Now, if I did want to take this list and put it into my KV Core and create a whole folder for these people, have you worked with KV? I mean,
I have not used KV Core, but what I know about CRMs, and this is all CRMs, each one imports differently.
okay.
What I recommend doing is going into KV Core, exporting some people that you already have in there.
Okay.
You want to export from their system because that will tell you how do they want it imported.
Okay, so export some people that are already in there, look and see what kind of setup they have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's how you want this file to be set up.
Okay.
Okay. Macros. I do not know how to create a macro, but I'm willing to bet that you could find somebody like on Fiverr, pay them $20 to create a macro for you. So a macro is going to be a spreadsheet that processes this file to make it identical to what KV Core needs.
Okay.
Okay, so what you could do is once you do that export, you could find somebody who could create that for you, and they would probably do it for like $20.
Okay.
But you would send them, here's the format that it needs to be in. They would create what's called a macros. They are super easy to use. Not easy to create because I don't know how to do that.
Right.
But use-wise, you open it up, you click a button that says process file, you run this file through it, and ta-da, it just produces the CSV file the way you need it imported.
Okay. So I would download some people from the KV Core, send it to this Fiverr person and say, create a macro.
Yes.
And they don't need that yet.
Correct.
So they're going to create a macro. I don't know what it's going to look like, but
it'll look, let me show you. I've got one. I didn't create it, but I've got one. Let's see. It's in here. Okay, so this is what a macro would look like. So it pops up this little message you want to enable, and then you're just clicking process file. You find the file that you want to process, and I don't think I have. This is because this one's open. It may not work because it's open on my computer currently. But you would just click open, and then it starts running that file. And it's separating the data. Right now it's pulling email addresses and separating those email addresses and phone numbers. Of course, what this is missing is, see, 31 new columns were created, and I click OK. The reason this one's processing the email addresses and phone numbers is because the way the data pulled into the spreadsheet was if they had, say, 3 phone numbers. All of those phone numbers are in one column right now.
right.
A CRM will not upload that way. But what this is missing is, notice I don't have anything like, I don't want to lose their mailing address. I don't want to lose that other information. So let's see. This is the one that I already had opened, right?
That's the one we just created.
Yes, you're right. It is. I'm going to say don't save. It would normally pop up with that new spreadsheet, but because I think I currently had it open, you don't want to have the file that you're processing open at the same time.
Okay.
But yeah, you would just click process. And we could help you with that if you get stuck. Whoever creates the macro would be able to explain it to you, or maybe they could even do a short video, but you just process it. It creates a new spreadsheet.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
So you're talking to a person when I was in college taking a computer class, I carried around the boxes of Yes. Yes. So this is, I mean, the learning curve is.
I know. I know some of this is kind of like a foreign language to me. Like I can tell you how it works, but I don't know how to program
but
it.
it's good that I know to go to Fiverr and just find somebody to create a macro, send them my KV Core people, and they'll be able to create it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And pay someone else. Okay, so now, on a regular basis, you'll want to refresh this list. Okay, so maybe once a quarter or so.
Oh, run a whole new
search.
Right.
Import the new people. So what I do is you come back in here to the carts, do your select all, and then we're just going to remove from, I don't want to delete the whole cart. So I'm just going to remove these properties. Okay. Now I saved the search previously. So here when I go to save searches, all I need to do is click on the search name. That's going to rerun my search. I select my new list and I add them into the cart.
Okay, and that will drop off the people and add people. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So now that's going to be my refreshed list. I can go back to the carts and export those people. Process it with your macro.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not interested in the marketing part. That's really kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good, especially since you recorded it, and if I have questions, I can go back. And you weren't so fast with your mouse
that you can't see it.
Yeah, that I can't see what you're doing. Yeah, there's some classes it's like I have to look at it like 5 times before I can find it. Where's your pointer? Where did it go?
Gosh, I know. Yes. And in classes, it's if anybody blinks, they might miss it.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
I really feel like that's the majority of what you're going to use here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it also gives me good information that if somebody's looking in a particular zip code or neighborhood, I can find out.
Yes. Yes.
You can some good information on.
And I know a lot of people are. Well, we're getting more inventory now. We're seeing the inventory pick up. But a lot of people were marketing to specific owners saying, hey, I have a client. I really have a client who needs in this neighborhood, and here's why they want to come here.
Yeah.
And it was making some deals happen. It was working.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording so I can start downloading.